What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope you guys all had a great start to your weekend. Had a great Monday. Hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 startup mock draft for the 2023 Dynasty Fantasy Football season. Super excited to be here with you guys tonight. Be sure to hit that like button on the way in. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you guys are new to the channel. But most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football topics, redraft, dynasty, best ball, whatever it may be, any NFL topics, throw in the live chat. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football tonight. So we've got a 3 wide receiver format, tight end premium, super flex format. Tonight we are not running third round reversal. We've just been switching that every other startup mock. So there's your setup for the night, full PPR, of course. So super excited to be here with you guys. We got a little bit of NFL news to get into, nothing too crazy. But just so you guys know, we are going to kick off right at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I gave you guys like 10 different warnings on Discord. So we've got like less than 2 minutes. Then we will be starting tonight's mock draft. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. Thank you guys for spending part of your night here at the channel. Let's do it, man. So let's hear. We got Spencer in the house. Taylor, Boss Man, what's going on, everybody? How we doing tonight? Appreciate you guys being here. Let's see here. So the Chiefs are expected to re-sign running back Jerick McKinnon. So obviously, we've talked about this being a very realistic possibility for the last week or so, I feel like, but especially post NFL draft, right? When the Chiefs did not select any running backs in the draft, right? And the Chiefs are like historically kind of a team that will pick up a veteran running back throughout the offseason, but with McKinnon not getting re-signed elsewhere, it just made like way too much sense for the Chiefs to re-sign Jerick McKinnon. So I'm not surprised by this at all. How does this affect Isaiah Pacheco? It does, but we definitely saw both running backs within that offense be able to produce at the same time. So McKinnon definitely a very different role than what Pacheco is going to bring to the table. So I'm not worried about Isaiah Pacheco necessarily, but I do think that Jerick McKinnon is going to be a running back who's is going to go in drafts and redraft formats for sure. And, you know, depending on how deep your dynasty drafts are, he will probably go at the end of dynasty drafts as well. But obviously, only being tied to the Chiefs for one more season, obviously not going to be someone you invest a ton of draft capital in. All right, well, we're kicking off. Let's do it. Whether you guys are here or not, if you miss your first round pick, shouldn't affect things too drastically, and then we can go from there. All right, so there is large speculation. I don't want to say large speculation. There's some speculation that DeAndre Hopkins is going to stay in Arizona just based off of comments that he made on Instagram, but I'm not going to read too much into this personally, but that's really like the only other thing that's happened. So Speezy goes with JJ at the 1.3. I'll go Allen here. I mean, Allen, Burrow, T-Law, Herbie, Jackson. So many good options right there. We'll go Allen tonight. Why not? So, yeah. I mean, we've really just got the signing of McKinnon to the Chiefs, and that's it. You know, we're still trying to let the dust kind of settle, so to speak, from the NFL draft. So, all right, looks like Tox is running late, so I will go ahead and give him the auto pick. That way it doesn't like kick him off the board or anything. But we'll keep an eye out here. I gave you guys like a ton of different notifications on Discord, so I felt like if I put anything else out there, it was probably going to annoy you guys. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, I just didn't know exactly what time I was going to be able to start tonight, so I apologize for leaving you guys kind of like in limbo and then just kind of starting with like a 15-minute heads up. But nonetheless, here we are. We'll have a good mock either way. All right. Bossman says definitely A-Chain on the Dolphins. I agree. But Kondre Miller, I think throughout, by the end of the season could be in a really nice position in terms of volume as well. So I'm starting to kind of rise on him, but A-Chain's kind of been my guy so far, like post NFL draft. Taylor, someone took Charbs in one of my startups today at the 1.7 before Quentin Johnston, Addison, Flowers, etc. Oh, and a rookie, you mean? Yeah. It's interesting because I have seen like a lot of rookie mocks, a lot of startup mocks, where Charbs is still going at a pretty high rate. Like, I almost just of the belief that it's going to be a committee style approach where Walker can be very productive and Charbs can still have a solidified role that gives him enough fantasy value to be relevant as well. So, and then I think some people out there, with Walker having a little bit of injury history, are also theorizing that Charbs is worth taking from a handcuff approach as well. So, personally, yeah, I'm taking other players that you listed before Charbs, but I guess I get it. I love him. I love you, Charbs, if you're out there, bro. But, it's just a rough landing spot. But, yeah, I was as big as anyone on Charbs coming into this draft, so I think a lot of people still share that sentiment and still have conviction in him as a player, so I'm not too surprised, but it's just right. What I just said, we're still waiting for some of the dust from the NFL draft to kind of settle. This is one of the primary situations, right? Is Charbs and Walker's ADP is going to, in both startup drafts, best ball drafts, rookie drafts, whatever it's going to be, they're going to really fluctuate around the place for the next month. So people will make up their minds, and we'll just kind of see some different scenarios kind of stemming from that. Let's see. I agree, boss man. I'll go with all those receivers at the moment before Charbs. Godfather, how we doing, my guy? Good to see you in the building. What's up? I feel like I take CD and Watson 90% of the time in these mocks. Hey, man, you got your guys. Stick to them. Charlie's in the house. What's up, my guy? Hello. Good to see you drafting with us tonight. What's going on, man? Doing fantastic. Hope you're doing well. All right, where do I want to go here? I'll take Stroud. Let's take Stroud off the board. So let me know very quickly in the chat for those of you guys who are feeling like being active tonight. Okay, I have seen so many different rankings in terms of rookie quarterbacks that I really feel like so much of the fantasy community and even just the NFL community, so to speak, are really torn on Stroud, Young, Richardson, who should be 1, 2, and 3. And I guess from our perspective, we do want to look at it from a fantasy football perspective, right? So, who are your guys'? Let's just say top 3. Let's leave Levis out of the conversation. Richardson, Young, Stroud. How do you guys rank them based off of their landing spots? Richardson with the Colts, Young with the Panthers, Stroud with the Texans, coming into this season, because I feel like every startup we've ran so far since the draft, it's been a different order. And like I said, I feel like just looking out there, it's all over the place. A lot of people like the upside of Anthony Richardson, but also view him as a huge risk, and also are kind of the belief, if you're drafting him, he's not someone you want to start right away. Although, you could certainly argue that for Young and Stroud as well, but Richardson, I think, holds the most fear, so to speak. Let me make this draft selection very quickly here. Let's see. Need to go receiver. Let's go Devonta Smith. So, yeah, and I think when you look at Young, he still feels like the most stable, but also has question marks around him in terms of his size, and that's really it. But that has scared enough fantasy managers from having that 100% conviction in him. And then you look at Stroud, it's like the opposite. Like, has the size and the intangibles, but doesn't necessarily have the ability to read defenses the way that Bryce Young does, but has, I would say, maybe even more capability in terms of throwing the football. So maybe not as accurate, but brings a little bit more upside in terms of like arm strength and things like that. So I don't know. It's just really, really all over the place. I personally feel like I'm going Young, Stroud, Richardson. I do. And I like Richardson as much as the next guy, but I just, listen, like, could it pay off? 100%. 100%. Like, you think about, like, Lamar Jackson, for example, when Lamar was coming into the league, like, you had a lot of people out there, both in the fantasy community and NFL community, who looked at Lamar Jackson as, like, too much of a risk, right? And same thing with Jalen Hurts, for example. Same thing with Justin Fields. So, I mean, those guys are all at kind of different levels in their career, but do you want to miss out is the thing you have to ask yourself. Like, and I think that's why you see Richardson taken first a lot of the time, is because fantasy managers don't want to miss out on the next Lamar Jackson, the next Justin Fields, the next Jalen Hurts, right? And I think that's totally understandable. I mean, you look at a guy like Trey Lance, who just went off the board at 4.3. Another player who had, obviously a lot more. Well, not exactly a lot more, but the Niners invested a lot more draft capital in him. But, went as a top 5 selection to the Niners and everything. And had that same kind of skill set as a dual threat quarterback. So, obviously, Lance has had a little bit of a different start to his career. But, it's just like, you just don't want to miss out on a player who could be a dual threat quarterback, right? So, let me know what you guys think. And after I make this next draft selection, I'll kind of go through your guys' thoughts in the chat. I do want to ask, it's definitely an interesting conundrum, in my opinion, that we're starting to face when you look at the rankings of JSN and DK Metcalf. Metcalf goes at 4.8, right? He's still age 25, going into his 5th season. But him and JSN in terms of ADP are like right next to each other. All right. I think I'm going to go with a veteran here. I'm going to add Cooper Kupp. And I'm probably going to start making draft selections for Speezy. Looks like we lost him. So just so you guys know, there will be no more running backs going to Speezy's team. Luckily, he's right next to me, so I can just adjust things if need be. So we'll see what happens here. Godfather, got your guy Najee at 4.12. Okay, come on. Give him digs. I love the selection of Quentin Johnston right there. Absolutely love it. I'll go Jordan Addison here. All right, so let's see here. J-Dubs, thank you so much for gifting a 1-month membership in the chat. Very kind to you. Looks like it went to Boss Man. Let's go. Enjoy that 1-month membership on the channel. Tox, missed my first pick, but it would have been Fields. There you go. It's all good. Yeah, usually if you guys miss one selection, it's not too big of a deal. How do you feel about Deshaun in Dynasty? He definitely has a contract. 100% locked down with the same organization for quite some time, which is good. Age 27, going into his 7th season, so a little bit older than you might think, like, when you're looking at things, right? Just because him having that kind of time he missed almost makes him feel, like, younger, so to speak. But I like Watson. I think where he's going is appropriate. And the upside is there, right? I mean, obviously the Browns are in a position where the offense looks pretty good on paper. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, DPJ, and then you go out in the draft and you add Tillman as well, David Njoku. You got Nick Chubb. Offensive line is pretty good, although I think they've lost one or two guys. But The defense is the bigger concern at the end of the day, but that doesn't really matter from fantasy perspective, right? Yeah, I think Watson, is going at an appropriate ADP. Like, you take away the rookies, he's going in between Lamar, Herbert, T-Law, and Prescott, Kyler, to a time, Danny Dimes range. So I think it's pretty appropriate, and it does look like the Browns are just trying to gear up to be a football team that throws the football more. So I think that's good for Watson. But last year was an odd sample size. I don't think we want to read too much into it. But I think that still means there's a little bit of risk with Watson. But certainly enough upside that he could be one of the primary steals of startup drafts coming into this year. Taylor says Richardson 1, Young 2, Stroud 3 for me. Charlie says Young should be 1. Panthers put him in a position to succeed as of right now. Talk says AR 1, Bryce 2, Stroud 3. If I want a safer quarterback, I go Bryce, still like Stroud though. Charlie Colts would rather develop AR. Stroud is in an iffy situation. Young has established bets. I mean, that's a good point. Stroud, when you look at the talent around CJ Stroud, is probably the worst. I mean, it's an interesting group of receivers right now. At least Richardson has Pittman. At least he has Alec Pierce and now Josh Downs, who are guys who will catch the football, and has 25 tight ends and Jonathan Taylor. Look at the Texans. You got Dameon Pierce there, and then I would still argue the wide receiver position is a pretty big question mark overall. I mean, there's certainly enough talent at the position, but who's really going to step up and be that guy for them, All right, where do I want to go here? Zay Flowers, just a really nice selection there. You know who I want here. Give me my boy. Give me my boy. J-Dubs, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the building. Hello, hello. Michael, honestly, they don't have the whole package like T-Law, Watson, Herbert. Yeah, I mean, that's rare, right? Only going to get so many quarterbacks that have every single aspect to them, right? Well, Speezy's back. Let's go. Triple RB build. That's right. Got your guy Najee, Godfather. Let's see. Talks, I'm going for a year 1 impact team. I like it. I think Chubb's a pretty good value at 6.7. I was wondering when Swift was going to go, and I had an odd suspicion that Spencer was going to take him. Love Watson at 5.6. Yeah. Good value for sure. Everyone happy with their team's draft? It's hard for me to say since I don't have a true team, but how do you feel about your team? It's a good point. AR, will be tied to the offensive mind that helped Jalen Hurts succeed, right? So it's a great point, Taylor. Bossman, I would never take Addison over Watson. So it's a fair point. I just wanted a rookie, a pure rookie. I got a younger guy in Smith, a veteran in Cup, and a rookie, and then someone in between in Christian Kirk. So just trying to balance that out, but I get what you're saying for sure. I've got Addison as my rookie wide receiver 2 right now. So I like him right there. But Quentin Johnston's really close for me. I just like something about Johnson on the Chargers feels good to me. All right, where do I want to go with this next pick? I probably don't want to go wide receiver. Let's change that pick for Speezy. Okay. You know what? Let's give him a quarterback instead. Okay, where do I want to go with this pick? Probably need to pick up a running back. Let's go, Rashad. Oh, I did not mean to make that pick. I was going Rashad White. I'm not going Sharps there. I swear, you guys could hear me start to say Rashad anyway, so I don't feel too bad there. Okay, lots of things happening right now. Isn't Christian Watson basically the same as a rookie? Essentially, there's only a 1 year difference, of course. So, I mean, Watson's pretty young, too. He's 23. So, let's just look at Addison. He's 21. So, I mean, you look at age, obviously Addison has the advantage. But I don't know his birthday. Like, Addison could be turning 22, like, tomorrow. And Watson could have just turned 23. So, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah. I kind of just went with, who was the top rated rookie for me and took him off the board there. But it's fair points. Charlie, we went with upside. I'm pretty impressed with Forbes. Yeah, I felt like both Washington and Dallas really went for upside as a whole. Talks, I love both players. I was heartbroken when the Vikings took Addison. Yeah. Gonna be hard watching them in the same division. Godfather, hard to keep passing on Henry there, but I felt like tight end wasn't going to make it back to me. Yeah, that's fair. It may have. I mean, someone would have. But is it the guy you want is the question. Difference in age isn't a big deal to me. That's completely fair. I know Spen's doing too much at once. Speezy, sleeper app, super buggy, trying to stay in there. You're good, bro. You're good. Trying to help you out a bit, but it's all good. It happens. Talks, great research here. Addison turned 21 in January. Watson turns 24 in 2 weeks. Didn't realize how young Addison was. That was like the best research done on Spot ever. What's going on, Speezy? Good to have you here tonight, man. Try and help you out in the draft a bit here. All right, into the 8th round we go. So that does bring up an interesting question. We kind of talked about how you guys view the rookie quarterbacks. In terms of the rookie receivers, let's just kind of look at just give me either your top 3 or top 5. Let's try and do top 5 though. JSN, Addison, Flowers, Quentin Johnston. I feel like those guys are like pretty stable, but then the next 1 or 2 it could really argue in a lot of different directions. So I'm just interested to get your guys' thoughts. And I did drop my personal top 10 rookie receivers a little bit ago. So there's a link for it if you guys do want to check out the video as well. Let's see. Speezy's team is old but smashing. It is. Your running backs are scary for the short term, that's for sure. All right, let's see. Where do I want to go with this next selection? Just give me Pacheco. Sure up my running backs. And we'll see what happens afterwards. I feel like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams have taken a little bit of a hit in ADP. There goes the Carster. Goes J-Lo. Godfather will wrap up the 8th. We'll move into the 9th round. Let's go. Talks, there's a rookie wide receiver I really like and think could make a year 1 impact in the weak wide receiver room. I'm not going to speculate. I'll let you pick him when you want to. Me and Speezy will be competing this year, then out of it for the next 5. All right, I'll let you guys. Oh, Mingo? Mingo was your guy? Yeah, I like Mingo personally. I think I had him ranked as wide receiver 8, maybe wide receiver 7. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I like Mingo. I do. Kind of a limited overall picture when we think about his collegiate career, but a really interesting player. Kind of built almost like a running back. Reminds me a little bit of Deebo Samuel. Not necessarily as dynamic, but just like the way he's built. And yeah, I mean, when you look at that squad, right, it's an interesting wide receiver room at the moment. So, you know, with Adam Thielen and DJ Chark being, I guess Terrace Marshall as well, being like the main competition, I do think that Mingo's in a pretty decent position overall to kind of win the wide receiver room. But you know, on top of that, right, you got Bryce Young and Mingo both coming in as rookies, so that's a good thing. You know, they're gonna be able to kind of go through the training camp process together, develop together, build chemistry together, and I definitely think that's a good thing overall. So I like Mingo as well. Talks, he's my wide receiver 7-8, but I'm a big fan of his game. I think he could be the rookie wide receiver 1 this year with Bryce. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah. Rare for the yard after catch guys to have his level of athleticism. Yeah. He's a very interesting player, and I think it's a good landing spot for him. And overall, like I said, I mean, that wide receiver room doesn't particularly like scare me. So I agree with you there. All right. A couple QBs going here in the 9th round. A couple tight ends, running backs, receivers. Got a little bit of everything. There goes Devon A-Chain off the board at 9.6. Yeah, I'm on the A-Chain train. You guys haven't been able to tell. A-Chain ran a 4.32 second 40-yard time and was also on the track team at Texas A&M. He had 36 breakaway runs of 15-plus yards over the last 2 seasons. Let's see what other random stats on rookies I can pull up. So we were just talking about Jonathan Mingo. Let's see here. Not much here. So weird. Like this draft tracker I have has like a lot of information on some players, very little information on other players. All right, yeah, quarterback's getting eaten alive. How do you guys feel about Hendon Hooker? Like, Hooker has been a quarterback that's been kind of landing to me in a lot of startups lately, and I'm like, I guess I'll take him. But, yeah, how do you guys feel about Hendon Hooker and the situation with the Lions being behind Goff? Do you guys think it affects Jared Goff for the short term? I mean, Goff has 2 years on his contract. Hooker, definitely a very, very, very interesting prospect. Age 25, tore his ACL in November. And Tennessee's offense is really weird. All right, where do I want to go here? A lot of players I like sitting around right now. But it looks, I mean, we've had somewhat of a run at tight ends, so I'll take Komet here. Nonetheless, yeah, there are a couple players I really like on the board right now. So part of me wants to go double tight end here, but I don't know. All right, 10th round wrapped up, and into the 11th round we go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, man. I don't know what I want to do with this next pick. Just give me another veteran. Let's shore up that flex spot. Give me Tyler Lockett. But, man, there are, like, quite a few players available right now that I really like. So we'll see how it shapes out here. Talk, Schultz had a good year with Dak, and CJ is a fairly similar player, so why not bank on upside? That's a good point. I do think that Schultz and Stroud could actually end up having a good little chemistry. Dak or CJ Stroud of the comp of Dak Prescott is interesting as well. Boss man, I bet the Lions will make Hooker and Goff fight for the job. Talks, I have no idea what to think of Hooker in Detroit. I'm just gonna wait and see. I agree. Yeah, I don't really want to invest too much in to Hendon Hooker, but I do feel like if he lands at the right value, he's worth taking. You know what I mean? But so far, he's kind of coming into a position where he ends up as your QB3, you know? So I mean, that's what happened with Bossman tonight. That's what's happened with like one or two of my mocks as well. Charlie sniped Hal from me. Yeah, I mean, Sam Howell's been a pretty hot name in a lot of her mocks so far. So I would definitely say if you want him, you're probably going to have to plan accordingly. He goes at 11.2 tonight, though. Let's see. Or Spencer says, I like the mid-age tight ends the best, 24 to 28-year-old guys. There goes Keandre Miller. I mean, that's who I was debating going with over Komet or Lockett. I mean, I feel like I have two solid running backs, but Miller would have been a really nice addition. There goes Jaden Reed, who I also really, really like at 12.1. I already have one rookie receiver. I feel like I have a pretty good balance overall, but yeah, I think that Jaden Reed could be in a position to get a lot of targets sooner rather than later. So I like him a lot at that value at 12.1. I love Sam Laporta going out the board at 12.2. I like Musgrave as well, don't get me wrong. Ken K goes at 8.6. Mayer goes at 7.1. Like, those four rookie tight ends, like, I am super excited about. Seriously, really, really excited about those guys' potential on their respective teams. I think most people out there are. Cats, what's going on, man? Sorry I couldn't make it to this one. Don't get off work in time for the early streams. No worries, my guy. No worries. Possibility later on tonight I might run an off-air one, so you're good. Thank you for coming out to this stream, though. Boss man, go watch Jaden Reed's highlights if you haven't yet. Nasty feller. Yeah, I like Reed a lot. I definitely think he's one of the better values coming off the board right now. All right, where do I want to go with this next pick? Oh, man. It's just so sad seeing Tyler Allgeier's name. It really is. Give me the lizard, man. See, the fact that I land Lazard, I almost wish I went Keandre Miller. Or even Reed, for that matter. But so sad seeing Allgeier's name. It really is. So sad seeing Izzy's name. The Jets. I don't know. We saw a good amount of injuries to the Jets running backs last year. Maybe he can come out of nowhere, but I don't want to bank on injuries or wish injuries, so we'll see. We'll see. Goes Chase Brown. I keep forgetting that Kenny McIntosh also went to Seattle. This is ugly. All right, 12th round wraps up. Into the 13th we move. Okay, still got a couple quarterbacks on the board. Where do I want to go with this pick? Goes McBride. Are we just completely spooked on Dawson Knox? I mean, Kincaid's going to be a pass catcher. We know that much. But I feel like Knox still under contract going into his 5th season, age 26. Like, got to be a point that you consider him. Give me Kayshawn here. I do think that Kayshawn is in a position where he could end up as the wide receiver 1. I mean, he's on the Patriots, so it's not beautiful, but at least they have a new offensive coordinator. And I still like him as a prospect quite a bit. So, I know he's got Mac Jones throwing him. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I'll take him right there. And that's probably my last receiver of the night. Yeah, we're sitting at 7 wide receivers. I love this wide receiver room, but obviously we have some work to do to polish out the rest of this roster. Speezy, tight end has like a 10% hit rate. Just buy one once they develop. Don't waste your picks. Not finding next Kelsey or Mandrews like that. It's a fair point. I do just really like this tight end class. I really do, though. I also really like Laporta, but he's like kind of in, or excuse me, not Laporta, but oh my gosh, what is this? I'm having a total like Will Mallory. I like Mallory as well, but obviously with the Colts, that's like one where I'd rather sit back and see what happens. Darnell Washington to Pittsburgh is confusing. Shoemaker to Dallas, confusing. The one player who I am intrigued by is Brenton Strange out of Penn State. As much as I love my guy Evan Ingram, I feel like the Jags purposely went out and got Strange for a reason. Let's see. Cats, Reed was my sleeper before he got high draft capital. Now everyone wants him. Well, I mean, it's like the first time the Packers have drafted a receiver like ever. I was drafting him before the draft, says Boss Man. I still am. Depends on how Love does. I mean, absolutely. Taylor, I love the Chase Brown pick. Yeah, going at 12.11. We'll have to see what happens with the Mixon situation and all that, but I do think that Chase Brown is definitely a top candidate to kind of start rising up draft boards. I know a lot of you guys are already big fans of him. All right, and in the 14th round, I'm in a position here where I need running backs. Oh, Tyler Algier, man, it's just so painful round by round. Here's Sleeper's outlook on him. Looking at reduced role. You think? All right, this is kind of an ugly pick, but I'll just take Antonio Gibson here. Like, give me some committee value, I guess. Probably nothing else I can really do. At least we got White and Pacheco in a studly receiver room. Talks, I kind of think Kincaid is a better version of Knox. I just don't see it working out for him in terms of fantasy. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunate. I mean, maybe you get enough firepower within that offense, but we'll have to see. Buffalo GM said Kincaid will be the route runner and Knox will be the main blocker in 2 tight end sets. Knox will see way less routes. Yeah, that's not what you want to hear. Speezy says Cheeks looking at no roll. In terms of Knox, no, Spencer, you evil man. How dare you take my player? Oh, you're talking about Algier. Sorry, that makes sense. Some continued rumors about Ezekiel Elliott making a return to the Cowboys. See how that shapes out. Oh, man. Gosh. I'm going to take Zeke off the board, I guess. There goes Algier. Someone's got to take him. I was actually considering it, just the position I'm in right now. Ooh. You guys may have heard that. That was an intense neck crack. I mean, what are we going to do with Zeke right now, guys? Godfather, definitely need to practice more. It feels like it's been a minute since I've done a mock. Yeah, I mean, for those guys who are in the Dynasty leagues, like this is going to be the main focus of the channel for the next month, along with best ball tournament entries, I guess I should say. But yeah, I mean, I definitely want you guys in the sleeper leagues for the year to get as much practice as possible. So, I don't know if we need to run more off-air mocks as well. Just depending on when you guys work and everything, like we can coordinate that through Sleeper and through Discord and everything. So whatever you guys need me to do, I'm definitely open to doing. But I definitely want you guys to get as much practice as possible to where you feel comfortable. Cats, how do you feel about Mingo? Yeah, we were talking about him a little bit earlier in the stream. It's pretty low on him, but you can't really argue with the draft capital. Yeah, I like Mingo a lot. I do. You know, he's kind of an interesting ADP. Like he went at 8.7 tonight. Josh Downs at 9.12. Rasheed Rice at 10.5. So Mims at 12.8. Hyde at 12.10. So you know, I just think the biggest advantage is him coming into the league alongside Bryce Young and having the ability to be able to develop with Bryce Young. So, but yeah, overall, I am a fan for sure. Ooh, I've got some interesting decisions to make here. Especially since I drafted Zeke. I can't believe Seattle drafted McIntosh and Sharps. I mean, it's almost just rude. Have there been like any other big free or rookie free agent signings? Undrafted, you know what I'm trying to say. Undrafted rookie situations that we need to pay attention to. All right, give me Rashad Penny. I'm just taking committee backs at this point in case I need immediate value. Got to handcuff Swift. Knew it would piss you off. It's all good, bro. I was going to get kind of excited. I mean, Gainwell is still a running back that I believe in to some degree. Just because injury history, committee approach. I still like Gainwell. I mean, injury history with both Penny and Swift. So, let's see. Seattle signed all the solid undrafted free agents like they always do. Do they really? I'll have to take a look. How do you feel about Donta Foreman now? He's kind of a guy that a lot of you guys like towards the end of drafts, just to add depth at the position. Age 27, going into his 7th season. Obviously, Herbert's there. Age 25, going into his 3rd season, but now you add Roschon Johnson as well. What are you guys' thoughts there? I'm probably in like the stay away range, personally. A couple of players I like right here that I wouldn't mind adding. I don't know if he's going to make it back to me, so I'm going to go Dwayne McBride here because I really liked him as a prospect. I really liked him going into the draft. And then he enters at kind of a situation with the Minnesota Vikings where if Dalvin Cook is truly on the way out and he's only competing with Alexander Madison, I like Madison as much as the next guy, but I do think down the road McBride could certainly carve out a large enough role within that offense that he could be a starting running back or a running back who gets enough volume that he's worth a draft selection at 17.4 easily. So I just like McBride a lot in general, and I do think it's a decent landing spot. But we got to see what happens with Cook. And, I mean, I do think Madison will be the starter. But sometimes, especially at the running back position, like we got to look a little bit down the stretch, so to speak. Taylor says wanted Evans there. Yeah, I like Evans was another player I was looking at 17.4. I think Evans, once again, in a situation where he's mainly competing with Cam Akers. And, I mean, Kyron Williams still on the team as well. But we do know that Sean McVay will utilize multiple running backs. So, we'll have to see. I do think he's worth. I mean, it's kind of like McBride's situation where down the road Zach Evans could have a nice role as well. Tox, congrats on being a member of the channel for 4 months. Let's see what we got here. Sending this for no reason. I just wanted to say my favorite really deep sleeper is Jordan Mims, running back from Fresno State. He signed with the Bills. He's not even in the sleeper database. Jeez. Tested terribly, but I loved what I saw. He has some Le'Veon Bell in him. Interesting. You know, the running back position is so interesting overall. Like, so many players can emerge at just random times and be relevant. I mean, there's in terms of offense, there's probably not a single position where we see more injuries than the running back position. So there's certainly always names that kind of come up. And we'll see, man. I like you calling out your lead sleepers, though. All right. I probably should have selected Kate Otten. I'm not going to beat myself up. But I am sad because I love Kate Otten. I do. So, yeah, basically here, I'm just going to finish things out. I don't know. We'll see who's available. Man, Dawson Knox taking a massive slap in ADP. Yeah, I was hoping Evan Hull would fall out here. But that's okay. Josh Palmer taking a pretty big slap as well. It's kind of a late round guy. A lot of people liked. Age 23 going into his 3rd season. I still think Josh Palmer is worth drafting. Yeah, KJ Osborne as well. Age 25 going into his 4th season. But yeah, obviously between Addison going to the Vikings, Quentin Johnson going to the Chargers, their ADP taking a bit of a slap. But yeah, I mean, Josh Palmer's young, going to his 3rd season, and injury history to both Allen and Mike Williams could mean that Josh Palmer can still see playing time. And there he goes. I don't like this pick, but I'm just going to take Dawson Knox. Just go ahead and grill me. I mean, someone's got to take him, right? I was hoping for Sean Tucker or Evan Hull in this round. So good selections, Walito and Shane. There goes Jawan Johnson. I like that selection as well. Let's see. Wow, 3rd time we've been asked tonight. Thoughts on Jonathan Mingo? I like Mingo. I do. I mean, I've got, he's, I don't remember if he was my wide receiver 7 or 8. But I will figure that out very quickly for you. I feel like he was 7. Let's see. No, he was 8. But you could certainly argue for him to be a little bit higher. I like Mingo. I like the fact that he's coming into the league alongside Bryce Young. Will be able to develop over time with him. But yeah, big body guy. Interesting athlete overall. But the main thing is he's going to be able to go into training camp in like all the same, units as Bryce Young. I think they have that opportunity to develop together. Godfather, I do not like my team very much. Spezial pass older prospect. That is a good point. He is a little bit older. Is a good point. Age 22. We're talking about the same player. Albert, what's good, my guy? Hello. Never know when Minshew was starting the first few games of the season and let AR develop or something. Yeah, I mean, the Colts have come out and said that Richardson's going to be the starter, but we'll see. I do agree that it could end up being Minshew for a couple weeks, but we'll see. How do we value Javonte? Oh, gosh. I don't know. He's a stay away from me. He went at 6.6 tonight, age 23, going his third season. We don't really have a clear update of his injury at all. We just don't. It's just a stay away situation for me. It was a stay away situation last year as well. And that was before he was hurt. I mean, how do you guys feel? Well, Lito took him at 6.6. I mean, at the right value, anyone's worth the pick, but it's just a stay away in general for me right now. I wanted Mallory this round. It's a good pick, Taylor. That's who I wanted. All right, I'm still going tight end no matter what with this last pick. Unless there's a running back that blows me away. No, I'll go Hayden Hurst here, and we'll call it a day. I'm okay with this draft, I think. Kind of a weird draft, but I think I'm okay with it. Smokey the Cat, what's good, bro? How are you, my guy? All right, let's see. You guys already asking for team reviews. I think Spencer's the first hand up I see, so let's do it. All right, it's going to close me out in just a second here, so I'll wait another second. But yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys want me to take a look at your squad, and we will roll through some team reviews. All right, Spenny, what we got tonight? Hurts, J-Lo, Hal. I'm okay with that. You gotta get your hometown guy, right? Two younger guys, you got Hurts, right? Hurts also young, I guess. Hawk, McBride, Ertz. I'm okay with that. Hall, Swift, Chase Brown, Gainwell, Purine, Samir Knight. Pretty good running back value. Olave, Quinn Johnston, J-Mo, Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, Sky Moore, Tyler Boyd. Claypool. Yeah, team doesn't like blow me away by any means, but I think overall it's a well-built squad. Pretty good balance overall in terms of age and veterans, younger guys, all that stuff. So we'd be starting Hurts, super flexing J-Lo or Howe, starting T-Hawk, starting Hall and Swift, starting Olave, Quinn Johnston, Mike Williams. J-Mo's on your bench for now, but will definitely be a starter more than likely down the road. Probably flexing Gabe Davis and Tyler Boyd to start the season. But you got Chase Brown, McBride, Sky Moore, Gainwell, Purine, Claypool, Ertz, Knight. You got options. Pretty good bench in terms of just a blend overall, right? Young guys, old guys, all that stuff. So I think it's a well-built team, Spence. How do you feel about it, man? I appreciate that, Cats. We'll take a look at my squad at the end. Appreciate it. Foster, good to have you in the house tonight. What we do, man? Geno, Rogers, Mayfield, a little late round. Well, I don't want to say late round, but QB fade team here. Waller and Fant. So yeah, I mean, like quarterback and tight end, you're kind of playing for the short term. Running backs, Etienne, Henry, Mixon, Herbert, CH, Rodriguez, Spiller. Decent running back room. Chase, St. Brown, McLaurin, Ridley, Mooney, Jones, Thielen, Samuel. Wide receivers look perfectly fine to me. I mean, it started mock like I want to see some rookies spread around here. Maybe not necessarily at receiver, but and quarterback, but with the running backs and tight ends potentially. Especially having, Fant's a little bit younger, age 25, going his 5th season. Waller, age 30, going his 9th season. Yeah, even if it's a second-year tight end, So you're starting Geno and Rodgers. You're drafting a rookie quarterback sooner rather than later. For the short term, it's okay. Starting Waller, I guess. I mean, you do the stack with Fant. So, starting Etienne and Henry. Starting Chase, St. Brown, McLaurin, flexing Ridley, flexing Mooney or Mixon. You still got Herbert, Zay Jones, Thielen, Fant, Edwards, Rodriguez, Samuel, Spiller. So, like, team looks fine. It's just you have a lot of pieces that are going to be for the short term opposed to the long term. So that'd be the only issue I really see here. But, like, your starting roster is good. But for the long term, might have some moves that you may regret not making in your startup mock is all. Startup draft, I should say. Taylor at the 1.11. What we do tonight, man? We got T-Law, Tua time, Ritter. I'm okay with that. Okay with that. You could argue with Tua's concussion history. Like, you might want a more stable QB3. I don't know. Maybe Ritter becomes one. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see. Pitts, Laporta, Mallory. That's a great tight end room. Great tight end room. Pitts can get back to what he's supposed to be. Like, you've got a good long-term outlook for your tight ends. Pollard, Akers, Miller, Bigsby, Fournette, Warren. I'm fine with that running back room. Really, I mean, if Akers really hits, I think you're in a good position. Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Hopkins, Bateman, Juju, Dobbs, Shaheed, Tyler Scott. I think you got good value all throughout the drafted receiver. Yeah, good-looking squad here. Starting T-Law, Superflexing Tua, starting Pitts, starting Pollard and Akers, starting Wilson, DJ Moore, Hopkins, flexing Juju and Bateman. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Juju and Bateman. Still got Keandre Miller, Laporta, Dobbs, Shaheed. Yeah, and a good-looking bench. I like this team. I think it's well built. Biggest issue, I think, could be quarterback, but I think it's a good enough squad. How do you feel about it, man? Let's see. Bossman at the 1.12. Very young team tonight, you say. All right, we got Watson, Danny Dimes, Hendon Hooker, Stenson Bennett. Interesting quarterback room, but you got two pieces for the short term, two for the long term. And still, I mean, Jones is 25, Watson's 27. So I think you're okay there. Kittle, Goddard's very nice. Then you got the shoemaker himself. Fine with that. Barkley, Charbs, Roshan Johnson, Tajay Spears, Strong. Yeah, pretty young at running back. Running back's fine. I mean, like, you probably have to figure out that RB2 spot. But Lamb, Dodson, Downs, Reed, Cooks, DPJ, Thornton, Perry. Okay. It's an interesting draft. I mean, getting those two tight ends early affected the rest of your draft. But I think it could work out. I mean, you're starting Watson, Superflexing Jones, starting Kittle, starting Barkley, and let's say Roshan Johnson. Charbs and Spears for the long term. I don't mind. And Pierre Strong is your late round guy, so I'm good at that. CeeDee Lamb, Dotson, DPJ in your starting lineup. But then in the flex, like, you got Josh Downs, Jaden Reed, Cooks, Thornton, Perry. So this is interesting. I think you got a lot of good long-term pieces with those rookies sprinkled in there. It's an interesting team. How do you feel about it, man? I like it. Let's see. Shane, what's up, man? How we doing? We got Herbie, Anthony Richardson, Mac and Cheese, and we got Duggan on the team. I'm fine with that quarterback room. Just keep in mind, if Richardson has growing pains, doesn't start right away, then Mac Jones is in your super flex. Mandrews and Conquo in Washington. I'm good at the tight end room for sure. Dobbins, by the way, the Baltimore Ravens did not draft a running back. Have not added any running backs in free agency. That is probably good for Dobbins. Dobbins, Cook, Jamal Williams, Hunt, Foreman, Evan Hull. I'm fine with that. Jason, Judy, Godwin, Cooper, Rice, Robinson, Shakir. Wide receivers look pretty good to me, man. So you're starting Herbert, hopefully superflexing Richardson, if not Jones. Starting Mandrews, starting Dobbins and Cook. Starting JSN, Judy, Godwin, flexing Cooper, flexing Rice, flexing Jamal Williams. Leaves one of those two guys on the bench with Chig, Randall Robinson, Darnell Washington, Hunt, Foreman, Houle, Shakir, and Duggan. Team looks all right to me, man. I think it's well built. How do you feel about it? Mike, what we do, man. We got Burrow and Prescott, Tannehill. Man, Tannehill really is like been a piece of your team pretty frequently as your QB3. Njoku, Bellinger, Higbee. I think quarterbacks and tight ends are fine. Jacob, Sanders, Jones, Monty, Algier, Carter. I like the running back room tonight, man. We got a lot of good value. Maybe over Carter, I go with like McBride or Zach Evans or Houle, just Tucker. Try and get a rookie in there, but I'm fine with that. Higgins, Metcalf, Flowers, Hollywood, Mims, Mechie, Collins, Palmer. I think receivers look pretty solid. It's a good team, Michael. Starting Burrow. Super flexing Prescott. Starting Njoku. Starting Jacobs and Miles Sanders. You got a lot of options at running back, though. Starting Higgins, Metcalf, Flowers, flexing Hollywood. Probably flexing Aaron Jones, but you got Monty. You got Mims, Mechie, and Collins. Got good handcuffs in Algier and Carter, Palmer. If there are injuries to Allen and Williams. Bellinger and Higbee, I think, are fine as late-run tight ends. I like this team a lot. How do you feel about it, man? J-Dubs, I still like Romeo Dobbs. I agree. Walido. Good to have you in the draft tonight. We got Lamar, Russ, staph infection, Willis. Ooh. I'd be a little bit queasy. Jackson's fine, of course, but you're really relying on Wilson is what I feel like. Which could be okay, I guess. Could be what it was last year, too. Kincaid, Dolchich, Otten. I love your tight ends. Love the tight end room. Stevenson, Javonte, Cook, Connor, Singletary, Tucker. Good running back value throughout the draft, for sure. Waddle, Drake London, Devontae Adams, Burks, Tank Dell, Rondell Moore, Michael Gallup. Receivers look pretty good. Starting Jackson, Superflexing Wilson. Starting, let's say Dolchich. See what happens with Kincaid. Great piece to have on the bench with Cade Otton, though. Starting Stevenson. Starting Dalvin Cook. See what happens with Javonte's health. Starting Waddle, London, Adams. That's beautiful. Flexing James Conner and Treylon Burks. See what happens with Javonte when he's ready to go. You still got Tank Dell, Moore, Singletary, tight ends, Tucker, Gallup. A pretty good looking squad. I just don't love the quarterbacks. Outside of that, I think it looks pretty good. Smokey just got the gem locking my phone. Let's go. Yeah, don't need you blocking anyone in the chat. Let's see. Speezy. Let's take a look at the team with your app bugging out. Cousins, Pickett, Carr. It's kind of an interesting build. Like, you get Pickett for the long term if he develops correctly. Like, you have two short-term pieces and a long-term piece. You got kind of screwed with the 4 tight ends. But Ingram, Jawan, Gesicki, Everett. I mean, like, we have a cap on tight ends in our draft at 4, and some of you guys want 4 tight ends. It's not the craziest thing. I actually think you're okay at QB and tight end. I mean, I'm not drafting Gesicki, and if I have Ingram and Jawan Johnson and I'm drafting one more tight end, it's got to be a second-year rookie guy. C-Mac, Taylor, Eckler, Madison, Izzy, Gray is, like, ridiculous just because of these 3. And, I mean, C-Mac at 26, Taylor at 24, Eckler at 27 is not even that bad in terms of age. J.J. Diggs, Keenan Allen, Tony, Hyatt, Pierce, Chark. I feel like he actually cleaned up pretty nicely at receiver. I mean, obviously, he could use more depth, but... All right, so we're starting Cousins and Superflex and Carr. Starting Ingram. Starting C-Mac and Taylor JJ Diggs, Keenan Allen, flexing Eckler, just stupid to say out loud. Then in your second flex, like you have Tony, Hyatt. I would say those are your two main guys. But you also have Madison and you have Pierce. So you have some options. The core roster like actually works. Oh man, interesting squad for sure. How do you feel about it, man? Let's see. Should we have free agent budgets for waivers or do it based on standings? I usually go by standings, but maybe that's something we can put to a vote. I know you're ready for anything, Speezy. I know you are. All right, so I guess that takes care of all the team reviews. Let's take a look at my squad very quickly, and we'll wrap up for the night. All right, Allen, Stroud, Purdy. You could certainly argue there's a big issue with my quarterback room. Allen coming off the shoulder injuries, I think he'll be fine. Stroud in his rookie season. Purdy coming off of his injury. So if all these guys are healthy, long term, I think we're okay. But there could be some growing pains for sure. And there are some of you out there who would argue against the quarterback room regardless. Kmet, Knox, Hurst. Had to kind of fade tight end. There's some good options on the board at 10.9. Kmet, Ingram, Njoku, Dulcich, Musgrave, and Laporta as well. I like Kmet a lot, so I took him. And then there's a little bit of a run before I could go with another tight end at 12.9 because I didn't want to go back-to-back. But I almost did, I'm not going to lie. Rashad White, Isaiah Pacheco, my primary running backs. Then we got Antonio Gibson, Zeke, Rashad Penny, Dwayne McBride, and Jarrett McKinnon. I'm okay with this running back room mainly because White is 24 and is going in his second year. Pacheco's 23 going in his second year. So they're close to rookie age. I think Dwayne McBride was a nice little pick there. But there's a pretty large run on rookie running backs. Really between the 11th round and the end of the draft. So, yeah, I don't put a ton of value on running backs. But it's not a beautiful running back room. But I think it's okay. I don't know. It's okay. All right, Devonta Smith, Kupp, Jordan Addison, Christian Kirk, Lockett, Lazard, and Kayshawn. I like this receiver room a lot. I really like that wide receiver room. I do. Okay, so I'm starting Allen, super flexing Stroud to start the year because I don't know what's going on with Purdy. It's out of his elbow brace 7 days ago, so it could be Purdy, maybe. Starting Kmet, starting White and Pacheco, starting Smith, Kupp, Kirk, flexing Addison, Lockett, Lazard, or Kayshawn. Like, that is why I want the wide receiver depth because we're playing in a 3 wide receiver format. And we have 2 flex spots, not including the super flex spot. So I love that I have options in the flex and on my bench. And I think we still cleaned up okay at running back and tight end. So I actually like this team. But I would have liked, like, a way to get Keandre Miller or Laporta in there. Cade Otton even. But overall, I think it's a pretty good team. Quarterback, I can get why some of you guys might have issues with it. Draft of the night, it's between Taylor and Michael. Those are my 2 favorite teams I went over. I think Taylor slightly... Oh, I don't know. Quarterbacks are pretty close here. Burrow and Prescott might actually... Who is really close. Burrow, Prescott, T-Law, and Tua is close. But Taylor's tight ends of Pitts, Laporta, and Mallory I think is really nice. Michael's running backs are better, though. Jacob, Sanders, Jones, Monty, Algier, Carter versus Pollard, Akers, Keandre, Bigsby, Fournette, Warren. But still good running backs, Taylor. And I think Michael's receivers... Oh, I don't know. It's close once again. Those are my 2 teams of the night. Both very good drafts. But overall, a great draft. I think you guys all drafted well. And just always appreciate you guys coming out to streams, hanging out, talking fantasy, and of course drafting with me as well. Definitely interesting to continue to see ADPs kind of shift overall, and some players start to settle into new ADPs, so to speak. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for the night. Speezy, I do actually like the way your team turned out, all things considered. Yeah, Eckler and the flex is nice. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out tonight. Thank you guys for spending part of your night here on the channel. Make sure you guys hit that like on the way out. Check out the links down below and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And like I said earlier, I did post my top 10 rookie receivers post NFL draft. If you guys haven't checked out the video, make sure to go check it out. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Should have my top 10 running backs coming out at some point tomorrow as well. Going to try and I'm trying to get back on my grind and have daily uploads for you guys, at least 5 a week. Have more short form content for you guys, which will be on YouTube and Instagram, and just continuing to live stream at the pace that we usually live stream at. So trying to get everything geared up for this season as soon as possible. I think I'm in a good place to get that going. So appreciate you guys, man. Love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Thank you guys for everything that you guys do for the channel. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight, everyone who listened in. You guys know who you are. I'll be back on tomorrow. Possibility Steven will be with me, so stay posted. And we'll be running a startup mock draft either way. So that'll do it, man. I appreciate you guys. Hope everyone has a great and safe night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And